Hi, I'm Ray Hager, substituting for Sam Shatt, and welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. Our guest today is Ray Bacon, the longtime executive director of the Nevada Manufacturing Association. And on the pundit panel today, we have Abney, Ellie Lopez-Bowlan, and Mike Draper. That's all coming up next on an all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
40 years ago, Hotel California and the theme from Rocky were #1 on the pop charts, and D&D Roofing and Sheet Metal started on the road to becoming Nevada's leading roofing company.
I couldn't be more proud of what we've achieved.
And over these 40 years, we've become an employee-owned company. So when you're talking to any employee, you're talking to an owner.
And here's to the next 40 years.
Happy 40th birthday, D&D Roofing and Sheet Metal.
Nearly 200,000 Nevadans work in retail businesses, supporting families and the community. Nevada's retail businesses generated over $2 billion in sales tax revenue in 1 year, including nearly $700 million to help our schools. Shop around and see all that Nevada's retailers offer our state.
We're the Retail Association of Nevada, representing thousands of Nevada businesses.
Businesses that work for Nevada.
Pro Group Management specializes in providing industries with the necessary components to satisfy and exceed workers' comp requirements. Every business has unique needs and specific regulations. Pro Group Management stays ahead of the curve, providing up-to-date services to keep your industry in top form. Discover how we simplify your tasks, improve efficiency, and reduce expense to keep you moving in a positive direction. Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you.
Truck drivers are some of the hardest working people you'll meet, delivering over 70% of America's freight and 92% of Nevada's. When there's a natural disaster, they're delivering critical supplies to help those communities recover and rebuild. Every sector of the economy and our nation's military rely on truck drivers. So let's take a moment to say thank you. On the open road or city streets, our truck drivers are rolling to make our economy and our nation stronger. Trucking moves America forward.
You tried to move on. You tried to put your life back together. Until one day, you see him at the store when you're leaving work. Somewhere you may never expect, the criminal who tore your life apart is walking free, but you may never know until you come face to face with him. Don't let this happen to more victims. Vote yes on question 1.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shatt, a no-holds-barred political forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shatt.
Hi, I'm Ray Hager, and welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. Our guest today is Ray Bacon, the longtime executive director of the Nevada Manufacturers Association. Welcome to you, Ray.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, I wanted to talk to you. You were present yesterday at the governor's Technology and Innovation Summit at the Tesla Gigafactory.
Well, we ought to clarify that because I don't think this thing airs until Friday. So the meeting was actually on Tuesday.
Okay, good.
And I think this airs on Friday, but that's okay. It was an interesting day yesterday.
Maybe can you expand on that a little bit?
Sure. They started off with letting people tour the Gigafactory on a basis that most people have not had a chance to tour. I've been up there a few times, and so I'd seen most of it, but I had not seen where they're building the axles and the transmissions and that front piece and things like that. That's a fairly impressive operation. They're now, the Panasonic side is now up to making about 3 million batteries a day. Put that in perspective, 3 million batteries a day. That, when they get up to full production, will more than double, just to cover the auto, the Model 3. If they decide to convert the S and the Model X to this same battery, that will take another step up as well. So they think that the ultimate output of the battery factory is about 4 times what it is now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things, when I was reading a report of it in the Las Vegas Review-Journal, they talked about in the future building a housing compound at Tesla, and maybe that they have about 7,000 workers now. That could go up to as many as 20,000 in the future. Can you maybe expand on that?
Well, that's what, you know, they're at 7,000 now, and if you're going to have 4 times as many batteries, even with efficiency, that gets you to 20,000 pretty easily. And that's, I don't think that contemplates where the semi is going to be built. If the semi is going to have a large number of batteries, which I think is fairly safe to assume, I wouldn't put it terribly far away from the thing, and I suspect they're out of space at Fremont to build the semi there anyway. They own 1,000 acres, so.
Do you think that they might, you're talking about semi-trucks and perhaps
Yes.
building semi-trucks at the Tahoe-Reno Industrial Complex?
That's wild-ass speculation on my part.
Well, you're not the only person that has said that, Ray.
Yeah,
so,
I know.
you know, I think it's more than speculation. You know, this has been kind of a summer of bad behavior for Elon Musk. You know, Tesla's boss, of course, he's been fined $20 million and he stepped down as the Tesla chairman. But the cars keep selling.
The cars are selling.
What do you think?
We just bought one. We picked up delivery a week ago Saturday, and so consequently, it's my wife's car. It's not mine. She reminds me of that periodically. It's an impressive vehicle. If you drive one and things like that, you're going to say, you know, I could live with this. It's you know, they talk about the acceleration because it's an electric motor of 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds. Okay, by the way, because that's an electric motor and the torque is transmitted across, if you're going 40 miles an hour, you can do 100 miles an hour in 3.5 seconds too. So when you go to pass, if you've been driving underpowered cars, which I've done for part of my life, if you pull out to pass, you have a tendency to put the throttle to the floor. Not a good idea in a Tesla. You can get going really, really fast, really, really quick.
So do you think this summer that summer of bad publicity has hurt the manufacturer at all?
No.
What did you think personally, Ray, when Elon Musk was on the Joe Rogan show and he smoked marijuana on the air?
Didn't see it, don't care.
Okay, okay.
In this state, with the amount of money we're making on marijuana, give me a break.
All right, okay. That's fair. I want to talk to you about an issue that Tom Gallagher, of Summit Engineering, brought up about the Tahoe-Reno Industrial Complex in Story County. He talked about fiscal equity. But we're getting a little close to the end here. Let me explain. Let me talk to you about this when we come back. We'll be right back with more with Ray Bacon after these few words.
Tamarack Junction is South Reno's hotspot with over 450 of the latest slots and video games. Sully's Sports Bar, the Dining Car Restaurant, William Hill Sportsbook, and the Tamarack Steakhouse and Lounge. We're just north of the Summit Mall in South Virginia. Yeah.
Dean Heller made a promise.
I'm telling you right now, I cannot support a piece of legislation that takes insurance away from hundreds of thousands of Nevadans.
But then Donald Trump threatened Dean Heller.
Look, he wants to remain a senator, doesn't he?
And then Dean Heller broke his promise.
Heller says he has changed his stance on the repeal.
He decided not to cross Trump.
Senator Dean Heller will vote to proceed. That is a complete 180.
Dean Heller broke his promise and caved to Donald Trump. SMP is responsible for the content of this ad.
We already know NV Energy is lying. But did you know NV Energy has been cheating, too? NV Energy's own documents show it overcharged Nevadans by $346 million, even overcharging our schools, and then handed millions in bonuses to top executives, a scheme even the Public Utilities Commission called excessive. Now, NV Energy has launched a $30 million no-on-3 scare campaign, all so they can continue to raise your rates. Lying, cheating, scheming. Imagine what else they have in store.
It's coming. California is coming to Nevada. And now they want to take Nevada's Senate seat, too. Californians are bankrolling Jackie Rosen's campaign, and she's going to pay them back. If California buys control of the Senate, you get socialized medicine, higher taxes, less liberty. California's not cheap, and it won't be cheap for taxpayers. Kick California out of this Senate race. Vote no on Jackie Rosen. NRSC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
The Tamarack Junction Steakhouse is known for signature steaks, handcrafted cocktails, and world-class wines. Join us Thursdays and Friday nights from 4:30 to 6:30 in the Steakhouse Lounge for live music, gourmet plates, and well-priced wines, just north of the Summit Mall on South Virginia.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
Hi, welcome back to Nevada Newsmakers. Our guest today, Ray Bacon, the Executive Director of the Nevada Manufacturing Association. Last week, Tom Gallagher of Summit Engineering was on the show, Ray, and he talked about what he called fiscal equity problem between Story County and Washoe County.
That's a Story County, Washoe County issue. It's not my area of expertise. Not going to touch it. Pure and simple.
Do you think he's got a point?
No. I'm not going to touch it.
Okay.
Well, let's talk about what took place at the forum yesterday. Because I think it was a well-done thing. The governor it was part of an adulation for the governor of look what I've done, and he deserves that. It was a lot of talk about what's in the future, the employee numbers, because you only mentioned the employees at Tesla. Blockchain thinks that they're going to be in that same general range, that they're going to be 10,000 employees in 10 years. That's a big deal because that is a technology change. Byrne, the CEO of Blockchains, is talking about that they're going to fill out a reasonable chunk of that space, and it's going to be talking about, he kind of says, we're the sand in the sandbox, okay, and we're one pebble of sand, and everything else out here, all that extra space is going to get filled in with other things which are going to be using the blockchain technology. My basic comprehension of blockchains basically says that what that does is that adds a level of security to transactions that's about 100x what we're doing now. So all of a sudden, a lot of those middlemen that are involved in transactions, those people go away or those jobs go away as the security gets in there. That's a huge deal. That thing means that your doctor now gets paid maybe in 10 days instead of 120 days. In housing transactions, all that background check on title checks and all that stuff, a lot of that stuff goes away because it's all there for everybody to see. So it's a big deal. The next issue on this thing, though, is what are we going to do on an educated workforce? Because we're already struggling. We've gone from 7 or 8 years in a row of gaining 100 to 200 to 300 jobs a year in the statewide in manufacturing, and last year we did 6,600, more over 6,000 this year. Can we keep up that pace, and what do we have to do to keep up that pace? And the secondary issue is, which is equally important, is what's the difference in the workforce that we need for the Tesla, Panasonic, and the other manufacturing jobs versus blockchains? And I'd like to tell you I know the answer to that. I don't, but I know it's going to be a challenge. I brought this book along with me. This is a gal who put charter schools.
The book is called Education. Eva Moskowitz.
She's the gal that does charter schools. She's a white woman, 5'2", and does charter schools in Harlem. And her charter schools basically are the highest performing schools not only in New York City, they're the highest performing schools in the state, just about. So she's a fairly amazing lady. A couple of things that she did in that charter school from square one, and now she's got a whole chain of them, is they start teaching math and science in kindergarten. And she makes a very sound case for that of, if you take a look at what kids see and understand, they start counting things, they start looking at their fingers and counting fingers and things like that when they're 2 or earlier. If you teach them the number system, you teach them math type situations before they ever get to school, they'll learn to say the numbers and be able to count to 10 long before they ever get to school. And so we don't do that in this state. If we want to get that workforce that's going to have the math and science base, we're going to have to start changing the elementary school. The governor rightfully talks about what we need to do to make the education system, and he focuses too often on the university system. The vast majority of the employees at Tesla and Panasonic and probably at Blockchains are not going to have a 4-year degree. So we need to do much better in the K-12 thing. We need to do much better in the science and math education in K-12 and in the community colleges than what we're doing today. That will get us the employees that we need for the masses that we're talking about are going to be employed out there in a decade.
So you're talking basically about improving the math and science education, what is taught in the first
Improving
grade?
it and starting much earlier.
And when do we start that?
Kindergarten.
Kindergarten.
Those kids are already curious about everything they see. We can nurture that along, and we can wind up with a much better workforce.
What about, is it too much to put on the kids? I mean, we already have a big push to read by 3.
And we're not doing that well. I will tell you that right now. Our Read by 3 program is in serious trouble.
Why is that? Can you expand on that?
Because we've already modified what we're going to do on the testing program, and we've already discovered that we're not on track. Remember, Florida held back 16,000 kids the first year that they did Read by 3. And to keep us from having that embarrassment, we're changing the rules as we go along, and that's not going to work.
So Read by 3 are a majority of Nevada students proficient at reading by the end of the 3rd grade?
Apparently not right now, but they haven't done the test yet, so they don't want to know.
But they've changed the test, you say, to make it easier?
They're changing the rules on the test, it appears.
And what, can you be more specific about that?
I can't right now because they're not talking about it.
Okay, okay. What, you say that the governor emphasized higher ed but not so much K through 12?
Talked about the importance of the universities, okay? But you take a look at the employees of these places, and the university is not where the majority of the employees are going to come from. They're going to come from the community colleges, they're going to come straight out of high school. And they need to have good, solid math and science and coding skills for the blockchain things. They want to start coding in middle school. The guy who said it. We need everybody to come out of high school with coding skills.
Okay.
We're not doing that today.
All right. Ray, we got to end it right there. Thank you for coming in today. We'll be right back after these few messages with our pundit panel.
Women and children, when fleeing an abusive relationship, shouldn't have to choose leaving their pet behind or leaving. And Noah's Animal House removes that barrier. And we are excited to have a facility in Las Vegas to serve Southern Nevada and Northern Nevada in Reno, so that women and children can be right next door to their pets while they're on their road to recovery and safety. Grab your toga and head inside Edge Nightclub for Noah's Animal House 2. Animal House has gone country this year with a live performance by country star Tyler Rich.
Here's Nevada constitutional law scholar Ian Bartram.
I studied question 3 carefully. 3 would lock electricity deregulation into our state constitution. This is a terrible idea. Locking deregulation in our Constitution would put a huge legal roadblock in the way of fixing problems deregulation creates, like the soaring electric rates and rolling blackouts deregulation caused in other states. I urge no on 3 to stop this risky and costly constitutional amendment.
Dimitri Prine here for Design Outdoor. Come visit Design Outdoor's store and backyard to see our wide selection of fire pits, barbecues, and pizza ovens. Natural stone water features and fountains, and frost-proof pottery. Our store and backyard are located at 11600 South Virginia, just north of DeMonte Ranch Parkway. Visit designoutdoor.com or call us at 851-9499.
Hey guys, are you watching the game at a friend's or the bar again because you can't watch at home with your wife? Or worse, because she kicked you out and kept your couch, your flat screen, and your kids? What's the one thing a man needs when he loses a good woman? A good lawyer. And when he loses a bad woman, he needs a great lawyer. What makes a good woman a bad woman? You tell me. You're the one that can't watch the game in your own home. I'm men's rights attorney Marilyn York, and I represent men in divorce, custody, and family law matters.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
Welcome back for our pundit panel today. Let me introduce the crew. First, we have Mike Draper, partner at Argentum Partners.
Good morning.
Good morning to you. Ellie Lopez-Bowlan, a community activist, but much more than that. And last but not least, Trey Abney of the Abney Tauchen Group.
Close, Tauchen Group.
Tauchen Group, okay. Yeah. All right, well, we got that out of the way. Just in the last segment with Ray Bacon, he did not want to address this fiscal equity question that was brought up by Tom Gallagher, who runs Summit Engineering. He has for 40 years. And what his issue is that counties like Story counties with Tahoe Reno Industrial Complex, they get a lot of the tax breaks the tax revenue from all that, but here counties like Washoe and Lyon are stuck with providing housing, providing schools, and providing hospitals for all these workers, and he thinks there's an inequity here. And of course, you guys remember last session, this issue was brought up by Skip Daly, an assemblyman from Sparks, AB 153, and it went over like a lead balloon at the legislature. So, Trey, do you think that Mr. Gallagher has a point about this physical equity or inequity between these counties?
Well, I mean, nobody lives in Story County, right? It is very easy and cheap to develop there. You know, the story about, you know, you can turn a shovel of dirt the same day you get your permit and the whole deal. And that's because they don't have to provide parks and police and fire and all the things that you have to provide residential communities for quality of life, right? The idea is that they are the job center, and then most people are living in Washoe, Carson, you know, Lyon and surrounding areas. But the issue is, I mean, Lance Gilman's a very good friend of this show, and you've heard him say over and over that it's kind of lifting all boats, right? It benefits the entire region. The restaurants in Washoe County are getting a lot more people eating in their stores, right, and all the retailers. And the property tax, when people live here and new houses get built, the property tax goes to Washoe County. So are there problems with growth? Yes, because our highways are getting crowded and you have to deal with sewer capacity and all that. But I don't know what that means. Do you stop them from building jobs out in Story County? So I get the issue. But if Tesla wasn't there, I mean, were we okay with 15% unemployment? Because nobody liked that either. So, you know, we go to the other extreme and now people are upset. Change is difficult, I get it.
Well, Mike, in the last legislative session, Skip Daly's bill would have put impact fees on Story County to maybe alleviate the problem or equalize the issue. But wow, that really got a lot of bad blowback, and it never went anywhere. Really, can you find a legislative solution to this problem?
Well, I think this problem, the way I look at it, Ray, and talking to people involved, and you know, we do some work with Mr. Gilman and others. This issue is a symptom of a bigger problem. And our bigger problem is we do have infrastructure, we do have impact issues, we do have growth issues, all that are great problems to have, but they're still serious problems. And so, as Trey pointed out, there's a lot of benefit that comes to the surrounding counties through property taxes and additional sales taxes and things like that, but we still don't have a plan to deal with this growth. And this isn't a county-by-county plan or a city-by-city plan. It really is where I think we need to have all of our counties and municipalities get together in Northern Nevada and figure out how they're going to deal with this and put a plan together. And maybe there's a legislative solution that comes out of that that also deals with equity, fiscal equity, and different long-term strategies. But I don't think there's a short-term solution in just saying we're going to put impact fees on Story County and that's going to solve this.
Right, well, we can see that didn't work at the last legislature. Ellie, as we look forward to the 2019 legislature, what do you see are some of the big issues, or what would you like to see as some of the big issues going forward in the 2019 session?
Well, almost tying into bringing businesses into Nevada is how are we going to provide health care for all these people coming in? Now, the people bringing businesses in, and I see many in my community who can afford very expensive homes, can hire a concierge physician to take care of their health care needs. However, the average worker has huge deductibles and can't meet their family's health care needs. So I don't hear anyone right now at any level running for office saying, okay, we're attracting all these people to Nevada, but this is how we're going to provide all these other services. I think we're very weak in doing that, and we need to address it. It's something that needs to be looked at by both parties in 2019.
Okay, Trey, do you see a legislative solution to healthcare coming out of the?
I mean, I rarely see government solutions to problems, but I can tell you here's what we're looking at. I'm going to make news here. Education is going to be a big topic in the legislature, and the funding thereof.
As it always is.
Mental and behavioral health is going to be a big topic. Energy is going to be a huge topic, especially if Question 3 passes, and I would argue guns and all of that issue will be big topics as well. Those are probably my top 4 if I had to pick.
Well, you know, the issues at the Nevada legislature, they seem to recycle themselves almost every session. Mike, do you see that?
Well, I mean, I think Trey, as always, is very wise with the topics that'll be coming up.
Is this recorded? I want to make sure. Okay.
I think it is. Those are the same issues that we've been dealing with the last couple of sessions. I think they're going to be, you know, there was ground that was made in some issues. There was clearly a lot of discussion around issues like healthcare and energy last session, guns last session, and I think there were no solutions. There were no policy positions that were really established, and I think that because you've got a lot of the same legislators and certainly the climate still is focused around those issues, we're going to see those issues be front and center during this legislative session. I think for me, what I think is going to be most interesting is energy is such a tough policy position for people to understand. And there's very few people in the state that really understand energy policy. I think if question 3 passes, obviously, but even if it doesn't pass, I think there's been so much discussion about it, there's going to have to be something that's done at the legislature substantially, certainly more so than in past legislative sessions, to address those issues that have been discussed as part of question 3.
Okay, well said. And that's where we have to end it today. Thank you all for coming in and being part of our pundit panel.
Thank
you. Did a great job.
Thank you, Ray.
Okay, we'll be right back to wrap up this edition of Nevada Newsmakers after these few words.
A bird's eye captures its surroundings at different heights. At Brian Culpa Photography, we can make your imagination soar over buildings, parks, cityscapes, and beyond. Brian's images tell the story and get the job done. If you need a new perspective to tell your story, contact Brian today. Brian Culpa Photography. Experience the bird's eye view at brianculpaphotography.com.
Hi, my name's Marilyn Miner, and I'm sure you'd agree that Nevada's a very special place to live. I was born here, and my husband and I have raised our family here. I feel it's a privilege to live and work in the Truckee Meadows. I especially enjoy helping my clients reach their real estate goals. Sometimes the smallest details provide the greatest satisfaction. I'd be complimented to talk to you about your next move.
Call Marilyn Miner at Dixon Realty, 742-1280, or log on to marilynminer.com.
St. Ives Florist, for every holiday and every special occasion. For romance. Custom home design. We have the largest selection of fresh flowers in northern Nevada. And we also offer a large selection of unique gift items. Come see me, Lori Ann, at St. Ives Florist, 700 South Wells Avenue, or call me at 333-9190.
Take a look at Pro Group Management and see how your workers' comp requirements can be met head-on. By taking a proactive approach, Pro Group can assure that your company is meeting or exceeding state and federal standards. As you move forward in your industry, Pro Group moves with you, simplifying regulatory tasks, clearing the way so you can get the job done and look to your future success. Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you.
Thanks for watching. Remember, you can visit and see all the archive shows at NevadaNewsmakers.com, and you can also download all the shows on iTunes. Thanks again.